Hello, this is JB. I live in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Today I'm going to talk about a love for basketball and the opportunity that I had recently to go watch the UNC Tar Heels play in the NCAA tournament. So I've been a Tar Heels fan my whole life. I grew up in North Carolina. As long as I can remember, I love watching the games, love playing in the backyard and with my friends, and just hoping that one day I could become the point guard for the Tar Heels. Of course, that didn't happen because I was short and I couldn't shoot under pressure, and it just wasn't good enough, and that's okay. So that didn't happen, but that didn't stop me from being a Tar Heels fan. I've still, my whole adult life, supported the team, followed the games, even a lot of times when I was living in different parts of the country. I tried to make it to some games, and I have been to some. I went to, I never got to see a game when Dean Smith was the coach, but after that, Bill Guthers was the coach, and I went to, I think back then they called it the Food Line MVP tournament in Charlotte. It's a tournament during the like December of every year, and then they changed the name to the Hardee's Invitational, I think, a couple years later in 2000, so 1998 and 2000, and then in 2014 or 15, I saw UNC play Davidson in the new arena, or the I guess the Spectrum Center, the Time Warner Cable Arena, whatever it was called, in Charlotte, and that was all fun. But I never got to go to any ACC tournament games. I loved watching that with my friends at school and my friends in the neighborhood and talking about which team was better, because there was always rivalry. Most people were either Duke or Carolina, but then of course you had some that were NC State or Wake Forest or Virginia. Not very many in Virginia, but other teams too. And so we talked about basketball, and it was just fun because we all like basketball. But I had always wanted to go to an ACC tournament game or NCAA tournament game. I'd watched many of them because they pretty often go to the NCAA tournament, and I just never got to go. But this year, I've been in Wisconsin for 7 years now, and I bought tickets to the first and the second round to be played in Milwaukee at the Fiserv Forum, not knowing who was going to be playing. And then I said, well, I don't want to go there and have to buy a hotel, pay for a hotel, and spend a bunch of money to watch teams that I don't know much about. And so I sold my tickets. And then right after I sold my tickets, the tournaments were played, the conference tournaments were played, and then they picked the field for the NCAA tournament. And I looked at it and I said, oh shit, UNC is coming to Milwaukee. And so I had to buy one of the tickets back, and for the first round. And so I paid for that, and then I decided that I would just go there for the day and watch it. And so I went last Friday and watched two games. First it was Iowa State and Lipscomb, and Lipscomb is from, or is it at Nashville, Tennessee, small school. But I guess they won their conference tournament, so they got in. And Iowa State beat them quite easily, and it wasn't that interesting of a game. But then the UNC and Ole Miss game was. Ole Miss is University of Mississippi in Oxford, Mississippi. They used to be called the Rebels, might still be called the Rebels. But so that game was more exciting to me because I'm a fan of UNC, and I didn't know anything about Ole Miss, but they were higher ranked because the Tar Heels had to play just to get into the tournament. They had to play one of the games before the first round, the play-in game, and they won that. And then they didn't do quite so well against Mississippi Ole Miss is just a better team. But I still enjoyed it because that was my only chance that I've had. I've been 40, almost 40 years old, waiting all that time just to see him play once in the NCAA tournament. So it was cool because there were a lot of, even though we're in Wisconsin, there were a lot of people with Carolina blue. I don't know if they flew up or if they're just from here and they just went to the game, or they live here and they went to the game. I'm not sure, but they were there, and so that was cool just to be around people that like the same team that I like. And some of them did have North Carolina connections, and so we talked about that. But it was cool, and just having the opportunity to see Hoover Davis. Since I said that I saw Bill Guthridge, and then after that, what's his name, Matt Doherty, and then Roy Williams. I saw a game that all three of them coached. Now I saw a game that Hoover Davis coached, and hopefully he'll coach there for a long time and do very well. And we won't have too many more coaches in my lifetime, but I enjoyed seeing that because I like Hoover Davis. I think he was a great UNC player. He was very good NBA player, very knowledgeable. I think he understands people very well, and he speaks in a way when he does interviews that's straightforward. So it's not a whole bunch of like BS. Like he just says exactly what he thinks. This is what he tells you, and then says, "Okay, next question," and then goes on. And so I like him. And some people give him a hard time because the Tar Heels aren't number one, but that's going to happen, especially the way the NCAA is now with the transfer portal and the NIL and all that other stuff. So he's doing fine. And I didn't get to go to the University of North Carolina, even though I wanted to play there, and I also just wanted to go there. It's one of the better, or it's the best public university in North Carolina, but one of the better academic universities, and so I wanted to just go there because it's like the flagship university, and it's like where you go if you want to become successful. Because like if you graduated from North Carolina and you go to a job interview and you say, "Oh, I went to Chapel Hill," or "I went to UNC," they say, "Oh, wow, so did I. What year did you graduate?" And then you got a friend, and they'll identify more with you. It's because you have something in common, and they are proud of their university, and so if they think it's good, they'll think you're good just because you went there. I didn't have that opportunity. Took me a while, but I got degrees from other universities that I'm very proud of. I got a master's degree from Arizona, which is another great school, flagship university, and so that was fine. But I still, because of my old memories of childhood and my youth and even adulthood, supporting the Tar Heels, so it was great to be there. Not a big fan of the arena. I think it's not just because of that arena, but I think a lot of arenas are like that. They're like very expensive, and you have to go through security, and there are a lot of people in a small place, and not very comfortable seating, and But if you want to go to the game, you got to get over it, and so got over it. But it was a good experience. Like it was a long day because I rode the bus down there, and then the same day I rode the bus back, and so it was like 5 o'clock in the morning until 11 at night that I was on the road. And so it was a long day, but it was worth it. It was fun, and hopefully, now that I'm moving closer to North Carolina, pretty soon I'll have more opportunities to see the Tar Heels and to bring back those memories. Thanks for listening. Have a good day. Bye.